Hello everybody, welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm coming at you with an interesting video for you. Today we're going to talk about the Pathfinder system. We're still on phase 1, we're on block 2, and we're on module 3. Now in this module we are going to be doing a couple activities. We're going to create a hearth or a fire pit, and the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a raised sleeping platform. Now behind me you can see, hopefully you can see, there are some what we locally call tamarack trees. These trees are on the way out to my personal space. These are a very good resource that I'm going to choose to harvest today because they're very plentiful in this area. I don't want to go out to my personal space and harm the resources out there. I'd rather use these things in our local area. Again, we call them tamaracks, but some of the other people call them salt cedars. And for the lack of a better description, this species of wood is, one, it's a hardwood, but two, most importantly, it grows like a weed around here. This stuff is very, very prevalent in this area where I live. And since this resource was on my way out to my personal space, again, I thought that I would collect these instead of, you know, other things at my personal space. So I'm going to gather some of this stuff. One thing I want to mention is a lot of the local ranchers in this area, we call these stays when we cut them. And what it is you have two fence posts, and in between the fence posts there'd be like 4 or 5 stays. And when I was a kid, all the ranchers in this area, they would pay us to come out and cut these, and they'd pay us 10 cents a piece for these. They had to be the diameter of a quarter, so about 1 inch, and that's pretty much what I'm going to be processing today. So I'm looking for stuff about 1 inch in diameter. The cool thing about these, again, they're a hardwood type material. They grow like weeds, so we're not going to harm the population of these in our area. That's one thing that I want to recommend, is that you don't go out there and just start cutting stuff down not knowing what the availability is of those. You know, I cut these when I was in high school. Here I am 41 years old and I'm still cutting them, and they're still prevalent in this area, so it didn't impact them at all. And I can promise you I wasn't the only one cutting this resource back then. So I have my Baco Laplander. This is one of my redundancies, if you will. I'm going to be using this to process this stuff. They're very straight, they're very strong, and they're just easy to process. So here's a look at the wood. My apology for the terrible lighting, but this is a really good resource. So I'm just going to cut a few of these out. So they're like heavy duty broomsticks is almost what they're like. And obviously, yes, I'm cutting them green. They have a lot of flexibility to them. Again, I can't reiterate it enough, folks. These things grow like weeds, so I'm not damaging the population at all. This Laplander is a great tool for this job, and I have a lot of work to do. Hopefully you can see, turn around, hopefully you can see the quality of the wood. It's a really good wood. There's that one. And then what I do is I come around the bundle here and I pull the end of the line through, and then I can drag these wherever I'm going. One more thing about these salt cedars, or these tamaracks, whichever you choose to call them, they make really good bows for your bow drill, and the dogs just love coming out, as you can see. So I'm going to continue cutting, continue dragging until I get enough for this project. I have some decent ones that I got here, so I'm going to add them to my collection here. They're starting to get a little thin in this area, so I'm going to head to a new location in hopes of finding some that are a little thicker. Here's a look at some of my progress. This is the stuff that I towed over here, and then all of this stuff I just cut just now. Okay folks, I got them all loaded up, and now I just need to tie them down. Sorry about the crazy angle of the video there. Kind of on a slope there, but one of them came down, got me right on the bridge of my nose. I don't know if you can see that. Kind of bumped me a little bit, but it happens. We'll see you out in the woods. Okay folks, now it's time to start the raised bed. So I'm going to make a couple tripods, 4 of them to be exact, to start with at least. I'm going to cut these, you know, from my wrist about to my shoulder. See that? From my wrist to about my armpit. And I'm going to lash these together, and I'm basically going to make some tripods that look something like this. And this is going to be the support system that I'm going to use for my raised bed. As I'm cutting these pieces, you can see that they have twigs and stuff, so I'm just using one of them to baton all that stuff off. I'm not using my knife. I'm not wasting the blade on my knife for this. Real quick, I'm going to show you how I make it. I got about a hand length down. I have a bowline tied around this. I'm going to take the 3 pieces, hold them together like this, bring them up like this so you can see. I'm going to make 1, so you can see I have 2, 3, 4, let's go one more, 5. Then from here, I'm going to come up inside this area, between these 2, use my toggle, tighten it down, release my toggle, take this working end of the string all the way down to the bottom, in between the legs right here, in between down here, and then pull up towards the top. Okay, again, we're going to need to tighten with our toggle, just like that. One more time inside. That one tightened up well. Let's go one more from the bottom. Looks like we're going to need our toggle here. There we go. I have 2. I'm on the 3rd one now. So I'm going here. So when I have 3 wraps on the inside, that's what I want. So I'm just pulling that baby nice and tight. Go back down, just like this. Now let's start here, between these 2 right here. 1. Let's go here. 1. Okay, we need our toggle to pull that baby tight. Two. All the way down to the bottom. These toggles make it a lot easier on your hands. And they give you the ability to really cinch this baby up real tight. So now I have one more to go. There's three. Now, from here, you want to go like this, come underneath, create an X. See that X? Hopefully you can see that. Made a little X there. Then I'm going to come around the back, inside, and I'm going to kind of lower this X down, and the working end is going to go through this X here, just like this. This is going to create, again, a clove hitch, which is going to hold everything together nice and tight. Now I have all four of my tripods built. It's time to get my beams, I guess you would call them. I'm going to take my baton here, and I'm just going to start removing all of the stuff off the piece. Again, I don't want to use my knife. I'd rather use a baton, save the edge on my knife. These pieces need to be about as tall as I am, so I'm going to mark them about head height, and I'm going to come down and cut this baby right here with my saw. And the excess I'm just throwing off in the distance for now, I'm going to use that possibly. So I have a piece here, again, nice and clean. I'm just getting rid of anything that would be uncomfortable. Same thing here. Just going to baton these little pieces off. Which there's not much on these ones. I actually got some pretty decent pieces here. I mean, once in a while you might find a piece or two that you need your knife for, but for the most part you don't. You know, if you want to fine tune it or whatever. Of course, we're going to have plenty of time in the future to do that, so you know, when we're laying in it, testing it out, we're going to find those rough spots, and that's when we'll break our knife out. So I'm going to use this first one to get a measurement. I'm going to line them up and get them about the same length. Doesn't have to be rocket science, folks. Just get it close. Okay, right now I have 4 pieces of cordage. See my bed starting to take shape. I'm going to lash the 4 corners together. Okay, I'm going to start with a bowline, and the bowline is going to go around one leg on the tripod. From here, I'm going to lash cross lashings. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put 2 lashes on this side and 2 lashes on this side. Now I'm going to change my angle to this direction. 1, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. Now from here, I'm going to make a clove hitch to finish this thing. There's my clove hitch. Now this tail is just going to tuck maybe some overhand knots or some half hitches, just anywhere to tighten it up, anywhere I can fit it. And that's my basic lashing. This thing is together, plenty strong. I'm putting all my weight on it. Okay, I need about that many more. Well, folks, I don't know if you can see my face, but let me lay down and check out this raised bed I made. Oh man, that's comfortable. Very windy today. Right now the sun's going down behind you to the west, and I'm thinking about moving my shelter and making it where its opening is on the south so that I can get the wintertime sun, but having the east end and the west end of it blocked so that I don't get that sunlight, because I really like kind of relaxing at the end of the day, and I like kind of sleeping in the morning. So next time you see me, I'll probably have a completely different shelter, and I'll obviously move this raised bed, which will be easy because this thing's not 100% complete. All I have to do though really is lash these sticks to these boards. It's not going to take a lot of work. It's just a matter of lashing, and I have some number 18 bank line, which is really thin, and it'll work perfect for that application. You can see that this bed, you know, I'm putting my weight on it. It's plenty strong enough to hold me, and it's the perfect size. It's not too long, it's not too wide, it's not too tall. It's just right for me. So folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today on Phase 1, Block 2, Module 3. This is my raised bed. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Check that out. That was a lot of fun to build. I just need to lash it, but I didn't do that because I'm planning on moving my camp, like I said. Talk to you later. Here is a good picture of a commonly used fire hearth pit that a lot of people use. There is my keyhole hearth fire pit. Now, to be honest with you, this is a lot deeper than I originally wanted, and it's a lot wider, but the concept that I'm looking for is to have an area right here where I can make my main fire, and then have an area over here where I can drag some of those coals into so that I can cook in this area. Now, there was a lot of rocks and stuff that I was dealing with when I was digging that kind of messed up my progress a little bit, but nonetheless I was still able to get the result for the most part of what I wanted. I still have a little bit of work to do, but I'm going to go ahead and take some of the dirt that I took from out of here and I'm going to pack it in between these rocks. What that'll do is that'll make these rocks a little more solid so they're not going to shift. There is my hearth pit, my fire pit. Looks like it's working.